Hi Sagittarius, this is Mimi with Divination by Mimi. Welcome to your April 2017 Tarot and Oracle reading with a little bit of astrology. We're going to be doing a elemental spread using the Morgan Greer deck, which is a Rider-Waite-Smith deck, and the Cartouche, which is based on ancient Kemetic mythology, a lot of characters of which I'm sure you're familiar with. We also have additional sets of runes for further clarification if needed. First, let's go over a little bit of astrology. We'll start with your ruling planet. Jupiter is going to be making a retrograde among many other planets. Jupiter will be going retrograde on the 2nd of April and will remain retrograde through the duration of April in the sign of Libra. So your energy is a very expansive, positive, fun energy. When it's in a retrograde, it's about revisiting old truths, revisiting things we've learned, revisiting to see if these things still stick. And in the sign of Libra, this generally has to do with relationships, how we relate with other people on the collective, on an individual level. But there are other retrogrades occurring besides your own home planet that will be impacting you. One in particular is Saturn. Saturn is going to be going retrograde on the 6th, and that is in the sign, your sign actually, Sagittarius, and will remain in retrograde until the 25th of August. That's a long time. And also Saturn will be forming a conjunction with the galactic center. So when a planet goes retrograde, we're revisiting, reconsidering things, right? So with Saturn, which is all about institutions, the church, things that are tried and true, stable, the building blocks of society that we lean on. When we're in retrograde and when we're at the galactic center doing this, we're actually revisiting things that we've been taught about such institutions from an early age. So the ideas that these institutions may have espoused, such as sex is bad, women are evil, all men cheat, things like that. Things that we learned at a very early age that were modeled to us very likely in our upbringing, however that upbringing may have been, we're going to be revisiting on an individual level and actually on a collective level. The whole world is going to be revisiting these old institutions of religion, of government, of finance, these building blocks of what we consider civilized society. We're going to be revisiting and making a determination if they really still fit. Okay, so your ruling planet Jupiter in Libra, the constellation of relationships, going retrograde and making a square, which is kind of an impactful, slightly potentially negative aspect, with Saturn also going retrograde, means that there might be a possibility that some old beliefs that you've held, some old things that you've said based on those beliefs, some old actions you've taken based on those beliefs might come out back up to the surface again and be shown to you. Okay, it may be a time you have to make apologies, and maybe a time you have to be honest and brave and look at things and consider, maybe I was wrong there, you know. Wow, that was a really fucked up thing I did or that I said, and I am sorry. I don't feel like that anymore. And then when you do this, this is like clearing the skeletons out of your closet and you can move on. This is that deep spring cleaning we're talking about. That's one of the squares that's occurring. And those are the kind of the ones that are impacting you in a big way, because one's in your sign and one is your ruling planet. But there are two other retrogrades that are going to be affecting all of us. Mercury goes retrograde on the 9th and will remain in retrograde through May the 3rd. So with that, consider that it may not be a good time to start new projects. However, it would be a great time to finish up projects that need to have loose ends tied up. On the idea of starting new projects, don't get yourself tied into anything contractually if you can. Nothing that's you're going to be held to for the next 5 to 10 years. So if you can avoid buying a house, selling a house, getting married, getting divorced, adopting a child, starting school, things like this, you know, kind of those big financial things that impact you long term, because all the facts are not going to be clear during our Mercury retrograde. Remember the communication, the god of the messengers of the gods, you know, the communicator god, Mercury or Hermes, is not in top form. He's actually in a retrograde. He's moving backward. He's busy looking backward at stuff. So he's not doing his job in full. So those things that you would expect to see normally or be obvious to you normally in the process of a contract may not be there. So that's why the suggestion is to hold back if you can on anything that you need to sign your name on the dotted line for. Okay. Also consider the other things that go on with retrograde. Mercury, communication, and electronics and mechanics. So this could affect your, your mechanics, your car, your appliances, also your communication. And one of the aspects when it goes retrograde is it's in Taurus at the beginning of the month, but it will, I think by the 20th, go back to Aries, which is a very hot, fiery, fast-moving energy. It will be in Aries by the 29th, excuse me. No, that's Venus, I'm sorry. Where are you, Mercury? By the 21st, Mercury will be in Aries in its retrograde. So that means their tempers could flare, particularly with all of this revisiting of old stuff. Tensions might be high. So check your emails before you send them. Make sure there's not a tone that you don't intend there. Think before you speak if you can. Just consider all this energy. One more thing that can impact this is Venus is also still in a retrograde. She's been in retrograde since the middle of last month and will remain in retrograde through the 15th of this month. And at a certain point, I believe it is on the, hold on, I'll tell you. Venus goes into Pisces on the 4th and makes a conjunction with Chiron in the constellation of Pisces, which is Neptunian, which is very emotional. And when she's revisiting, or she's making a very close, within 10 degrees conjunction with Chiron, the archetype is the wounded healer, which means we'll be looking back at things that hurt us deeply, old wounds and hurts. And also, when this aspect is being created, there will be a square created with Saturn in its retrograde too. So just a word to the wise for April: be prepared to have calm nerves, to ground yourself, to try to find peace in your mind. And as these things come up, and believe me, they inevitably will come up, be prepared to have an open mind, be courageous, be ready to apologize if need be, but try not to let these energies control you, if that makes sense. Be the rock that does not roll. Okay. Okay, so that's it for, two more things astrologically. There is a full moon in Libra on the 11th, and then there's a new moon on the 26th in Taurus. And then beyond that, let's get down to some tarot. So again, this is the Morgan Greer. This is an elemental spread, which basically goes by the 4 directions: north, east, south, west. So that would be earth, air, fire, water, respectively. And then in the center would be Akasha, or spirit. And then we've got the cartouche for further clarification and runes if need be. So let's just find out what does Sag need to know with all this fun activity, particularly the activity in your sign and your ruling planet's activity. All right. Whew. All right, Spirit says celebrate. That's a nice thing to have. That's Akasha. That's what we pulled for first. That's the 3 of Cups. Going out with friends, having a good time. In the upright position, it's in its higher octave. So something has happened that Spirit is saying, celebrate, enjoy. Maybe you've been a little too serious. Maybe it's Spirit being pleased with the progress that you're making as an evolving soul. And saying, be easy on yourself, because this April's going to be a ride. And put some flowers in your hair. Always put flowers in your hair. In the north. Oh, the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. Okay. In the east, we've got the Magician in reverse. In the south, we've got the 4 of Wands in reverse, which don't worry, that tends to be the same outcome whether it's reversed or upright. And in the West, in relationships, we've got the Nine of Wands. Okay, so this might be why Spirit is telling you to take it easy on yourself. In the area of health or wealth, you receive the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. So the Wheel of Fortune is a karmic lesson. As you can see, when you're on the top of the wheel, it's awesome. When you're on the bottom of the wheel, it's not so awesome. So in reverse, there's some lesson, something, and you enjoy someone who's blunt, so I'll be blunt with you. There's some lesson that you need to learn either physically or financially. And I'm kind of feeling as though it's physically, honestly. If you be prepared to start to take something about your health seriously, maybe something you've overlooked or, you know, brushed under the rug before. Because the feeling that I get here is there's some spending of resources that you have. I don't mean financial, I mean like physical resources that you're kind of at the end of having. So maybe if it's been a while since you've had that, you know, yearly checkup, maybe right about now, April might be a good time to do that. If you're thinking about taking up an exercise routine, maybe start that gradually and slowly. But I think health is something you might want to take a look at here. There's something that you've been avoiding or overlooking for a while, and now's the time to not avoid it any longer, because this is a major arcana card, which basically is saying that, and I think it kind of ties in with the Magician here, this lesson's coming for you. So be prepared for it and be compliant with its message. And I do believe it's health related. And it may have something to do with stress. So over here in the East, the North is, again, about Pentacles. This is about your resources, your health, and your finances. Okay, we understand there's some lesson you need to learn, and I believe it's related to health. And I think it might have something to do with mental health. So over here in the East, we have air, the element of air, which is swords, which is intelligence, education, travel, mental activity. Now you've got the Magician, which is another major arcana card. The Magician is basically us, the querent, with all, in its upright position, it has all of the items that it needs available to him, and he's ready to, you know, take full advantage of all the powers that are available to all of us as humans in this incarnation. We have the ability to make anything manifest that we want, quite honestly. We are our own gods. In reverse, there's either a misuse of this or there's a lot of scattered energy where you're not really putting any of these elements, any of these tools here to use, okay? So it feels like, to me, and this is what I'm getting here, Spirit's telling you to ease off a little bit. You need to calm down. You need to relax. You're a little bit too tense and serious about something. I believe that this turn physically is a result of this activity mentally. It feels like you've been all in your head. Seriously, like thinking, never really acting, but thinking, feeling, thinking, feeling, thinking, feeling. And down here in the creative area, the Four of Wands, which is it's a wonderful card. You got it in reverse, and that's okay because it really doesn't degrade it too much there. Basically, what this is saying that, you know, at the moment, things are kind of delayed and on hold because of what's going on mentally here. But you've got lots of projects. You've got lots of things creatively that you'd like to get started on, that you would like to put your effort and your thought and your heart into. And your mind is just whirling around in a circle and not getting anything done. And it's like you're worrying and questioning yourself. And all of this is taking a toll, like maybe an ulcer. It might cause you, you know, some mental, like some depression or something like that. Something's happening physically as a result of all of this mental activity that's really not going anywhere. It's a lot of high intensive, high impactful, powerful energy whirling around in your head and going nowhere. And that can literally drive someone crazy or cause physical manifestations of that tension, okay? So these creative endeavors that are waiting to happen will happen, but Spirit's saying relax a little bit here. Okay, and in relationships, it looks like you're holding out on some kind of connection. It could be family. You're coming to a completion. This is the Nine of Wands. Nine of Wands is generally about a battle-worn soldier who's still holding fort. He's holding the guard. So you're coming to the end of an evolution here, but this kind of warns, okay, of depleting yourself too much, your energy too much, which this activity mentally here might have something to do with family or friends that are making you second guess yourself, or it may be your own doing where you're just putting way too much emphasis on what they think and forgetting what you know. Because something's waiting here for you. There's something that you really want to get started on here creatively. But all this activity here is keeping it from happening, and it's hurting you. Let's get some clarification on him and him. This is the cartouche based on Kemetic mythology and archetypes and elementals and energies and concepts. Trying to make yours not quite as long. Some of them are very verbose, so I apologize about that if I'm doing that to you here. But let's see what we can get on the Magician in reverse. What's this mental energy about? Osiris. It looks like you're trying to take responsibility for something that it's really not your job to do. Osiris is kind of the father figure, and Isis is the mother figure, and they had Horus. You know, again, it's very similar to the Christ mythos. But you're acting and you're taking your job very seriously, of the boss or the head of the household or something. There's something you're taking very, very seriously here, but you're really thinking it to death. Spirit is telling you it's not that hard, it's not that complicated, it's not that serious. Okay? That if you just relax a little bit here, calm down a little bit here, you'll have the tools and be able to relax into using the tools. You won't grip them so hard, you'll be able to relax and use them. Okay? Then you truly will have sovereignty over the whole situation. And hopefully this will turn its way around too, because I mean, the health thing is not something you can ignore. And if it means, you know, you maybe need to see a therapist, then do that too. It's related, but it's definitely Spirit telling you that all this here and this is not that serious. To please relax. Okay, and let's get some clarification here on this Nine of Wands upright. I think you have a feeling that someone's holding secrets from you. This is the Sphinx, which is about ancient wisdom, but it's also about keeping secrets. And in reverse, this could be secrets being kept from you, or you keeping secrets to like hold guard. Are you trying to hold up the way things look, and that's what all this stress is about? You have to look perfect and be perfect all the time? Is that what it is? Is it about a family that you have to seem as though you're perfect? So therefore you're driving yourself insane and making yourself sick with it? There's families are all fucked up. So if it's your family or if it's about you, no one's perfect. So just relax. Spirit's telling you. Spirit's the boss, right? Relax. It's going to be okay. Just relax. It's not that serious. It's not that complicated. There's tools in front of you. Loosen your grip. You'll be much more effective with this. This will fix itself. And these projects will start and will flourish something beautiful. And that's all I have to say. I don't want to talk too long. So I hope this was helpful to you, Sagittarius. If this didn't resonate with you, or if you had additional questions or comments, leave them in the comment section below. If you would like a reading specific to you, feel free to email me at mememes@hotmail.com. That email address is in the description box below the video. Otherwise, I will see you when I upload the full moon and new moon videos later in April, and then I'll see you at the beginning of May. All right, you have a wonderful April. Take care.